Welcome. Hey everybody, welcome to the Crew Live. We're in session again, and if you're here today, it's an awesome day to be here. We're going to have some almost scandalous conversation today. And what we've done is we've caught the creep catcher. Today you've got Rich, Curtis, Trev, and Jim. Matt's going to be popping in on our next episode. And we have Craig Charles here with us today. Saskatoon's #1 creep catcher, soon to be Canada's #1 creep catcher. He's going to tell us all about his work catching creeps, often referred to as douchebags. Craig, thanks for being here. Cheers, boys.
Yeah. Cheers to you,
Cheers.
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 Well done, Craig.
Well done.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So good to have you here. So we were really curious about your work. Let me just get you to give, if you don't mind, just a brief story about what you do, and then we're going to ask some questions and get into some of the actual encounters you had with these creeps.
Well, we've been trained to do this, right? So we go online in certain ways. We go to chat sites and stuff. We'll make a fake profile, have women, we have a group of women that send us pictures and stuff, so we can use their pictures on it. We just make a profile, they start talking to us, and we just sit there and talk until we find one that seems like they're going for it. Then we hit them with, oh, we're only 13, we're only 14, only 12, whatever we say, right? And then, you know, we can kind of depict who's going to be like, oh yeah, let's do this, and we can kind of depict who's going to just report our profile or whatever. So we kind of have that knowledge building up, and then we just start talking until they want to meet up, and then they say, oh yeah, let's meet up, blah blah blah, and then we show up.
You show up. Surprise!
Yeah,
it's Craig on the Creep Crew.
Welcome to the worst day of your life.
Yeah.
It's funny because one of the last guys I caught that I haven't uploaded, he asked me for some nasty pictures, and I said, oh, I like to keep myself as a surprise, and then when I saw him, I'm like, surprise!
Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah. So you got one you're going to upload soon again?
That one I can't upload.
Oh, what stops you from uploading that one?
Well, if we don't get their face good enough, there's no point in uploading it, because people can't like be aware then, and also like if there's any risk of danger in it, we can't upload it either.
Okay, so I'm glad you're giving us some parameters for creep catchers.
Yeah.
So creep catchers is a national organization, right?
Yeah.
Started in Toronto. What we want to do, if you got the freedom to answer questions, we want to ask a bit about the training, and we want to ask a bit about what got you into creep catchers, and a little bit of the history that kind of led you on that path as well. So first question, who's got a question about the creep catchers organization?
Well, let's. Why don't we start with the training? What kind of training do you get, and who provides it?
I can't provide with who provides it.
Okay.
That's yeah. But the kind of training is basically how we can make ourselves so we can't be traced.
Okay.
So like, you know, when we're talking to the guys, we do have the guys that really don't like what we do. They're online and stuff. So we have to make it so they can't find out where we live, find out where we are at that moment and all that stuff, find out where we're chatting. Then we gotta do training to figure out, you know, what if something happened? What if this guy did that? What if this guy did that? So we have to do some kind of protective training. Okay. And then also there's a lot of emotional training, how to hold in your anger, how to hold in your, you know, some people get so angry they want to cry. Okay. So how to hold up in your upset, how to calm your adrenaline so you're not all shaky and stuttering and stuff. Just basic training like that.
Okay, so, and it comes through the organization, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and what length of time is that?
It really depends. It depends how quick you catch onto it, really. Okay. Like mine, I caught onto it right away. I actually shot my first video before the training, and I did my first catch before the training, which was the one I uploaded. And the first one I uploaded, and I did the video right and the chat right, but I uploaded it wrong, and so I got in a bunch of crap for that. And that's how he was like, Dawson was like, hey, let's make you do it proper and let's get you on the crew, and then that's how I got on the crew too.
Okay, is that the gentleman from Calgary?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I watched a bunch of his videos last night.
Yeah.
They're pretty incredible, and he posts all the chat, all the text, and so you can read that.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild, and I was shocked at the number that he had on there. It's just the proliferation of this is just incredible. It's
how many has he got?
Well, I think he was at 23. I mean, just when I looked yesterday, I think it was
I can't
23.
remember.
One guy.
23,
One guy.
23 videos posted. So I don't know how many he hasn't
We
posted.
catch
look-
a lot more than that.
I'm sorry. Did you look and see over what period of time?
Oh,
No, I didn't.
That was, I think it was from like, I think it started in November area.
Okay.
And it ended near January.
Like there was one day he said he had
Wow.
three in one day.
Yeah.
There was
wow.
there was one day, I think it was in December, where he had like 7 or 6 or
Oh
something.
my God.
So what's this guy's background? What's his?
I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
What's his real name? You said we could ask tough questions. Craig.
I know him by Dawson.
I saw him too.
So that brings us to another question regarding your interaction with the press. This has obviously gotten a lot of attention,
Oh yeah.
and so your impression on what's happened unfolded with the mainstream media.
And you likely haven't been on a show quite this large before,
Yeah.
so.
Or prestigious.
Well, you see, I don't do it for the fame. I don't care about the fame or any of that stuff. The only thing the fame does for me at the end of the day is it gets the word out. It makes parents aware, makes children aware. Hopefully parents take it in, and rather than hate us for it, they go and talk to their kids and make their kids understand how easy it is.
Okay.
Like some of these guys we catch in like 5 minutes.
Right.
And we're already like walking to meet up with them.
Oh, wow.
And what happens with the evidence you collect now? So you are not a police officer. You're
No.
not getting any professional salary. You don't belong to a professional organization.
No.
You're putting yourself in danger.
Yeah.
But you get this information. What do you do with it? Related to the police.
The cops have started to call me and contact me, and they want me to bring it in. They've admitted to me now they can lay charges with the proof as long as we don't as long as we're not the ones being like, let's hang out. You know, let's meet up. Let's do this. As long as they initiate it all,
Yeah.
they can use it to press charges.
Yeah. And of course, you provide all the records and documentation.
Yeah.
So
Even on my Facebook, I have all the
Okay.
chat logs. I upload all the chat logs before the video even hits the internet.
okay. And how will we find you on Facebook?
By Craig Charles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Craig Charles
Or
on Facebook.
Facebook.com/Craig Charles, right?
And then we got a
Nice.
Facebook page that's Creep Catcher, and then we got a website www.creepcatcher.ca, and then I just started a YouTube that hasn't took off or anything yet, and I'm not good with that stuff. I don't even know how to tell you guys how to get to it or anything. Just search Saskatoon Creep Catcher.
Just like if you search the Crew Live, you're going to see the 6 views
Yeah.
we've had. And someday you'll have 6 views as well, Craig.
Any issues with
Actually,
Facebook?
I'm almost at 1,000 now.
I know you are.
Any issues with Facebook?
What do you mean by that?
Like the Facebook organization having any issues with the content that you put on your Facebook page?
Actually, Dawson just got banned last night for 7 days.
Banned from
okay.
Facebook?
Facebook, yeah. But
Yeah, I'm wondering about that because
the content, as long as we scratch out, edit out all the, profanity, inappropriate pictures,
Names,
stuff.
faces.
Well, names isn't a big thing. It's more personal information such as phone numbers, addresses.
License plate.
Okay.
License plates okay to post.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
License plates okay to post because that's a way for the cops to track them and
Okay.
everything. If he says where he works, we're supposed to bleep that out, stuff like that.
Okay,
Just
sure.
anything that can get him harmed.
Sure.
So with this Creep Catch organization now, I thought of a couple different questions. One, funding, and two, legal advice and representation. Like you're talking about, oh yeah, we can do this, we can't do that. Like, is there a lawyer involved with this, and how is there any funding involved?
In Calgary, we have numerous lawyers working with us, and they do it out of their goodness of their heart too, and they help us with learning what the laws, what we can and can't do.
Yes.
Lots of the guys are starting to do it, but we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to swear and yell at the guy as much as, if we slip a swear, that's not a big deal, but we can't verbally abuse the guy.
Right.
We can't, like I said, we can't basically antagonize him to come. He has to be the one pushing for it, stuff like that.
He's got to be asking. You can't be
Yeah.
saying, "Please come meet me because I'm a 15-year-old girl that
Yeah.
wants to meet an old dude."
Yeah, and
constitute entrapment, right? If you
well,
were to-
technically in Canada, entrapment only actually applies to law officer agents.
Oh, okay.
In Canada, if you're a citizen, entrapment doesn't apply to you in any way. It's just then we become the person that's we become the person that's trying to get him to come.
Okay, like a bait or an initiator of the contact.
Yeah,
okay.
Okay, so Craig, Rich knows the rules on the Crew Live. We're allowed to use our cell phones for anything we want during our filming, and he's got a question, I think, related to some information.
Well, first, maybe it's props. You said something earlier, something about 1,000. What was that? 1,000 views?
On my YouTube, yeah.
Oh, on the YouTube. Okay, yeah. Because I just wanted to give you props. You've already notified apparently 196 plus thousand families that there are creeps out here on Facebook with just one video. So
yeah, and then if you go on my second one, it's at 500,000.
700,000 people that have already seen these videos,
Wow.
seen these creeps
Cheers
get
to you,
caught.
man.
Yeah,
So hopefully you've protected 700,000 young children,
Yeah.
because that's what that's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you earlier, just like what finally got you off the couch and got you motivated to do this, and like it, you know, it's a need. Like it,
Yeah.
I'm totally down with being vigilante style, although
Yeah.
this isn't really that, but you're just calling out some real wrongs that are happening in the world. Like, what got you off the couch?
Actually, for the longest time, since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a youth counselor, work with troubled children, help troubled children in any way possible. And then I saw this, and I was like, you know what? This is probably helping children more than a counselor ever could. Because in a way, like, counselors help you emotionally and they help you physically quite well. And I support counselors, but we're stopping them from needing to go to a counselor because they got touched, because they got raped, because they got kidnapped, stuff like that. So it's like, I feel like I'm doing an equal job, I'd say equally important job, but in a quicker, easier way.
For sure.
Well, you're working on the prevention side.
Yeah, exactly. Preventing them from having to go see that counselor for that kind of stuff.
So it's more like civil crime prevention than it is vigilantism, because you're not enforcing any punishments on these individuals.
No, not at all. We actually we post them, we make people aware and stuff, but we do not condone in any way that someone goes attacks the person. Yeah. We do not condone that someone goes and vandalizes their truck or their house or anything like that. We don't condone that people, you know, even if he's in public, we don't want them going and trashing him. We just want them aware of who he is.
That's very compassionate, actually. Just raising that awareness for the individual who's perpetrator as well as the rest of us to say, you know what, this is a real hazard in our society right now.
Yeah.
I've just got to check our set here, guys.
Well, I don't think the goal isn't like a self-gratification thing as far as the creep catcher saying, I want to, you know, and it's going to make me feel good if I harm that person or that. You're trying to prevent.
Yeah.
You're trying to stop it from happening. And even coming to chat with you today, I have 3 children. I have a 10 and a 9 and a 6-year-old. And even to meet with you today, they now, like, we had a conversation, you know? So, and it's great because then, like, I want to keep them sheltered from that. Like, I don't want them to know anything about that, like, this doesn't even exist.
It's impossible nowadays.
But that's the whole point, is that you can't put your head in the sand, and it's a good thing to talk about.
And the thing is, too, if you bury them too much and try and protect them too much, then they're going to find a way around it and just do it worse. You have to find a way to, like, teach them how to do it properly.
Yeah.
How to stay safe, how to, you know, how to put it in a way that, you know, they may not even be found by a 40-year-old. They may not even be found by a 30-year-old, whatever, stuff like that. You got to do that, because if you prevent it too much and if you shelter them too much, it's just going to get worse. Because it's like when you're a kid, your parents telling you, don't drink, right? You found a way around it.
That didn't work.
It did not work.
That did not work.
You found a way around it.
Yeah.
Same with the online world.
Our parents were so wrong, hey?
And all they have to do is, you know, go delete the history, delete this, delete that. All of a sudden you don't know anything they did. Now they're missing.
So, do you know, are there any resources that are readily available for parents to properly teach their kids these things?
Actually, I'm trying to figure out a way to do it on a low budget to start doing public speaking, go speak in schools.
Yeah.
I've offered even to some parents, they're like, you know, I'm really struggling with this. I've offered to, you know, go talk to them in public areas, just go sit with them, have coffee, talk to them, explain how to keep their kid protected and everything. I want to start doing, like, bigger things where I can, like, prevent it before they even get online too.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. So this is something we need to have society crowdfund this young man and get this thing working.
Yeah. Is there any crowdfunding campaigns going on for you? Because Rich had an idea for one he mentioned to me before we met you today.
We don't make any income other than we do donations. If people donate to us, that's the only source of income we get from it. But the thing with donation too is every bit of donation, we we will use some of it for say our phone bill so we can take videos with the guy, upload it and whatnot. But most of it goes right to upgraded equipment, upgraded this stuff to make our job, what we're doing, easier and better.
Sure. And I think I saw on your Facebook page, Craig, that you have a new way to donate to the cause. What's that?
Right now I'm just doing e-transfers.
Okay, and so if you go to Craig's Facebook page, you'll see there's an e-transfer email address, and you're welcome to send any amount to that destination. It'll get into the right account, into the right hands, and it'll protect more children from the harm that sometimes befalls them from these DBs, as we called them at the start of the show. So to that point, it sounds like most of the creep catcher work is dealing with female individuals who are online. Are you tracking those who are predators towards males?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do. Okay. We just caught one.
Oh, nice.
Was going after it was a 13-year-old boy he was going after when he was a 20-something-year-old guy. But I'm actually trying to find a female I can bring on the crew and start busting females that are doing it. Because it's not only males that are predators. It's not only males that prey on young people, right? There's females that do it too. So I've been talking to this one female I've known for a while, and I'm trying to get her to come on the crew so I can start busting females too. Because I could go do it myself, but if the woman ever got aggressive, right, or something, I can't go and deal with her because I can't grab her and throw her down. That's not right. I can't, go and, hold her hand so she doesn't grab a weapon or whatever. I can't do any of that. So I need a female on my crew. Not that she's going to be on camera. She may or may not be, but she's more there in case something happens.
Well, if you get a female on the crew, then we can have the female on the crew live. Because although this is an all-male show, we do have female guests from time to time. That's completely allowed. We've checked our constitution and bylaws, and females are welcome to be guests on the crew live.
Yeah.
So to that point, you're looking for a female who's willing to volunteer her time as a creep catcher, and she can contact you through your Facebook page as well.
Yes and no. It's hard to bring on people that I don't know. It really is, because there's so many laws that we have to follow. And if I brought someone on I didn't know, I don't know that he's going to listen. I don't know that he's going to follow those laws. I don't know that he's not going to walk up and punch the guy, stuff like that. Right. And if stuff like that happens, then all of a sudden the whole thing gets shut down.
So would you not have to qualify everybody that you brought on board through Creep Catcher and through the training process and so on and so forth? So.
Yeah, I've got to the point where my own crew, for the most part, I train them all myself. Okay. Because I've done enough. I've talked to Dawson enough. I understand most of it. I catch on to things I catch on to things really quick. And so when I started doing the training with him and stuff, and when I finished it, now I've got to the point where I can be like, hey, this is what has to happen. I meet up with them and I explain them all. And before I start doing any sort of training with them, though, I explain to them their risks. And stuff like that, that there's going to be a lot of laws to follow, and that their face probably will never be on camera and their voice will never be on camera, solely for the fact of it's kind of a one-man thing, because if you get too many people, it becomes an attack.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. During our pre-show prepping, you had kind of alluded to the fact that this isn't it isn't all gratification. You actually get some hate out of this. Like what? Are you free to share some of the negative feedback or the worst case that you've encountered?
Well, most people now know I don't use my real name on it. There's people that hate me and say that I'm fake because I don't use my real name, which is solely for protection of anyone right around me.
Just a troll. That's just a troll.
And then there's people that hate me. They're the guy's family or friends that will support him no matter what. There's people that try and say it's a hate crime. I was just released by the police too, that someone wants to come after me for a hate crime about it. There's people that just say, oh, leave it to the cops. You're not a cop, don't do a cop's job, stuff like that. There's people that simply hate us because they're jealous. Like,
Yeah.
it's
So are the police overwhelmed then? Like I think that'd be a pretty natural reaction. That a lot of people would say, "This guy's doing policing."
yeah.
We have police. The police are doing that. There's a unit that does that.
I think people don't quite understand the police side of it, because like, say someone's daughter was sexually abused in some ways or sort. Police, lots of times it takes up like 3 years or more for the case to even be resolved. So by 3 years, that person's had to live 3 years knowing that the guy's still on the streets, all that. So like, there's no benefit to that. Like, if they're not in jail right away, they're just going to do it again, do it again, do it again. Because the thing with the legal system in Canada, also, they protect them. If, say, someone got busted for it and they're going to jail, well, they try and not let the prison, people in prison find out who they are, what they did, stuff like that. Before they go in, when they're awaiting trial, stuff like that, they don't release anything about them until after they've been charged. In the States, they put all the predators on the internet. They don't do that here. They also, when they get released, they protect them in a way, unless they're like they've done it numerous times, or starting to get really bad. The police, when they get released, they protect them to the point you could be working with one and you don't know it.
I mean, it's clearly a different genre.
So
you're
what is
in. Like the police are there. Once the crime has gone down, they need to do their job.
Yeah.
You're preventing that crime.
Yeah, but
you're saving
aren't the police
kids
out there doing the exact same thing that you're doing? They're not out there trying to catch the creeps. They're not out there fishing as well, trying to get them before the act occurs.
And is it illegal to communicate with an underage or minor person for sexual purposes? Is that illegal?
Yes.
Just the communication.
Right.
The communication is illegal, yeah.
Right. So when that very fact that you've brought this profile running of a 15-year-old girl and some 40-year-old guy is talking to you about, like the recent one I saw, the gentleman wanted to pay $300 every other week to have this 15-year-old stay at the hotel and get drunk and do inappropriate things.
Yeah,
I'm sure as soon as you're adding money in, that's just a whole nother
area.
That's
a whole nother area. Yeah, that can be actually classified in the prostitution area.
Yeah.
Okay. And so to be clear, folks, Craig is not a legal advisor specialist either. Maybe we'll have a police officer on at some point if our local policing agency's into that, or a lawyer come answer some of these questions as well. But you're doing an excellent job of giving us some great answers.
Yeah.
And we talked about this beforehand, just really quickly, like the age of consent for sexual consent. So it is 16, correct?
No, not correct.
Okay, what's your statement on that?
14 and 15 can consent to up to 5 years difference.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
16 can consent completely, but at some point, 16 with certain ages, such as 30, 25, if they were to be like, oh, he touched me, and all of a sudden we broke up, and they go to court and they say, he touched me and I didn't like it, it's still a statutory rape charge.
That's true, really?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. I understood that the age of 16 you can consent completely. 14 and 15 you can consent up to 5 years less a day. 13 and 14 you can consent to up to 2 years less a day. And under 12 you cannot consent.
14 can consent 5 years. 12 and 13 can't consent at all, actually. Their parents can consent.
So if it's a religious thing and somebody decides their 12-year-old daughter wants to be married into...
If they're married, if they do marry, say your parents sign...
That's incorrect.
I'm going to get some info from our producer. One of our producers is back.
Just having read the criminal code recently, as in like yesterday.
Okay, so appreciate that pause. Let's hear...
The criminal code says what Curtis
says. Criminal code states that... someone who's 13 and 14 years old, someone who is under the age of 12 cannot consent to sex.
Yeah. Greg, it's our first disagreement. We've been
this is early. 12 and 13 can consent to someone who is 2 years less a day older than them. Okay, 14 and 15 can consent to someone who is 5 years less a day older than them.
Yeah.
And 16, you can consent.
Okay, and you realize this Crew Live is unedited,
and I'm not a lawyer,
uncensored, and Curtis is not a lawyer either. So we may cut all that out if you care or not. But the fact is, I don't think I heard anywhere in any of that a 15-year-old can consent to a 40-year-old.
No.
And
you know what?
So that's the point here, right?
When I watch the videos of the Dawson gentleman from Calgary, he seemed to stick with the age of 13.
Yeah.
And these creeps that he had on film were anywhere from what appeared to be about 25 to, I want to say, almost 50.
Yeah.
And like there was one guy they had, and I don't know if you've watched this one video, where he said he was going to just take the girl to a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, seeing these guys, actually, I got enraged last night.
Yeah.
Watching this, I was just starting to and I couldn't stop. I'd watch it.
So,
and I'd get
Curtis,
angry.
what would be your response if you were doing a creep catcher job out there on the street? Do you think you might snap on one of these dudes?
I think I could probably keep it in.
Just to answer that definitively.
You would. Trevor would break it down.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm sure, like, you could keep it in, like you said, but what lots of people don't realize is this stuff does get to your head really bad. Like like me, for instance, I'm lucky if I sleep every second day. It gets to your head so bad. You have to deal with this every day, seeing these guys, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, and all this stuff, and it's disgusting. It really does, you know, mess you up in some sort of way, not like permanently or anything, but it makes your mind go crazy. And like, I'm sure most people would be like, okay with one, okay with two, but after you keep going, it's gonna start getting to you. And
How many hours a day are you committed to doing this creep catching?
I basically am doing stuff 24/7. Unless I go to sleep, I'm doing stuff.
Do you have someone you are venting to, getting a diffuser, a therapist, a counselor, someone to talk you through some of the stuff that you kind of witness and have to conceive?
Not at all. I took some counseling courses when I was done high school, and I've learned to deal with it myself. Like, it doesn't affect me that bad. The sleep thing, like, whatever. I've never had a good sleep pattern throughout my whole life anyways, so that doesn't bother me much. But as long as you, like, you know, once it starts getting back to you, you put your phone away, you sit back, you think, like, you know what, you know, I'm helping kids, I'm doing this, then you can calm yourself down pretty easily.
So, positive experience. So
yeah,
at the end of your day, and you lie back and you reach over and you turn off that light on the nightstand.
Yeah.
Are you able to shut your brain off, or are you constantly thinking about it?
Depends who the last guy I talked about to was.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It really depends, because like some of these guys get really, really into it and really disgusting. Then some of these guys are like, you know, it's not better by any means, but some of these guys are like, you know, more calm about it. They address it in a different way.
Different levels of
Do you think some of them are just getting off on the conversation and not on an act? Like, do you think that they're into, like, it's the chat that does it for them, or do you think that they're all going for that end game of that actual sexual encounter?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So it's got to be very.
That's a good answer. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah.
I wouldn't know. All I know is they're however old and they're going for someone that's underage.
Do you know, or does anybody know yet, has seen anything? Has a catch turned into conviction yet anywhere at any point?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Has a catch resulted in violence towards a creep catcher? On
Can't
scene.
discuss that.
Okay, so there has been, I'm going to say there's been the odd beatdown.
So those aren't allowed to be posted?
No, we can't post that stuff. That stuff is what the cops will shut us down for.
Okay.
And we told Craig coming in here that he can decline any of our questions at all. We got to spend about 10 or 15 more minutes together, and the questions might get
Do
tougher.
real men wear pink?
Of course.
Yeah. Of course. There you go.
Like, I do this for a living. I have to be a man to be able to deal with these guys.
Absolutely.
So
perfect.
How are you taking care of yourself then? As far as, like, you said, you're doing this 24/7. You're obviously the age where you're employable. You need to take care of yourself. How are you doing that then?
In what sense? Financially?
Yeah,
or?
financially, sure. Like, is anyone there like backing you, supporting you, that is helping you with this?
I was on the rigs for a while. I ended up breaking my back in May severely. I shattered 2 vertebrae, broke 3 other ones. So by the time I was able to come back to the rigs, it was all gone downhill anyways. So I had some money saved up from that, which helps me a bit. I have 2 friends that, you know, we live together and they help me out quite a bit. Okay. We stay together. We split on everything, but like, say one time I didn't get enough for this or whatever, they're understanding about that. So I get support from friends and stuff quite easily.
Yeah, nice.
So Saskatoon is Canada's fastest growing city.
Yeah.
But we're still only at, what, 250,000 people? How many creep catchers do you need in this city? I know you don't want a whole bunch. I know you've got a good crew.
306,000 in the GSA, Greater Saskatoon.
306,000?
How many creep? Well,
I've been asleep for the last decade, I guess. I knew it was growing, but 306. Anyways, like how many are you still trying to expand the Saskatchewan brand?
Saskatchewan, definitely. But Saskatoon, like, it'd be awesome to be able to bring on more people and have more people doing it. But it gets really tough because, like I said, if one guy ends up breaking, a law or getting hurt in some way, that could shut us all down. Right. So we have to be careful on how we do it.
Now, you say that can shut you down. How can anybody take away your right to text or talk to somebody and then video them trying to meet a 15-year-old girl? Who can take that away from you? Nobody has that.
That's not necessarily what they can take away from us. It's with, like, the cops, the only reason they're not up our neck is because we haven't been hurt or anyone been attacked at in any way. But the cops, like, if we're assaulted or any of that stuff, like, to them, we're just another citizen.
So,
right?
like, if you're causing them to have to do more work by someone getting hurt, or they have to open a case that wouldn't have been there originally, that's what's going to piss them off?
Yeah, and they're going to...
Well, you're saying you're provoking it. I think maybe they would say you're provoking it.
Yeah.
Well, they may find some way in which you've infracted on the law, or the creep catchers is not performing to some standard or particular method that's acceptable.
Yeah.
And eventually they'll push to shut you down. But that doesn't change the fact that if creep catchers get shut down tomorrow, then we start creep nabbers the day after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
or creep getters, or creep slammers, or whatever. Just like Pirate Bay, right? They get shut down all over the world and they start up somewhere else.
That's where we've all agreed to. Like, we've all agreed that everyone that's in the crew that's a main guy, like, so me, Dawson, Justin Payne, like Robbie
We'll edit out
and all that. Oh, you can use those names.
We can use those?
Those are made for TV names.
Yeah.
Okay.
All those guys, Gregory Fox, all of us, I forget where I was going with this now. Oh yeah, we've agreed that basically, like, if the cops say ever did charge us or something, or ever did find a loophole to, try and shut us down, we would basically put it over our heads, come back out of the jail cell, or come back out from being charged, come back out from court, and do it all again.
You rebels.
So here's a question, kind of in the spirit of Jim's book, Utopia.
Right.
So you probably don't know this yet, but Jim wrote a book, Utopia, based on someone being the king of the world, and they get to make all the rules. So if there was no law, or if you could make the law, and you would nab these creeps, and instead of filming their license plate and filming them, what would you do?